It is 5:30 in the evening, and I'll call our meeting order at this time. I'd like to welcome everyone for coming tonight. I would ask that if you have a device, please silence it at this time, and anyone with a mic in front of you, please adjust it. Thanks, sir. Our invocation tonight will be given by Linton Deloach, and after that, I'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Dear Lord, we thank you for letting us all come together and step in, dear Lord, to see about the county business. We ask that you just be with each and every one of us, give us the wisdom and knowledge to conduct this meeting, dear Lord. We just ask that you just continue to be with us, and we just thank you for all the things that you've done for us, and thank you for the rain. We just ask that you continue to bless us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on our agenda, approval of agenda. Everybody got a chance to look at our agenda tonight? Approve it like it is?
Motion to approve.
I hear a motion, a second.
Second.
Darrell,
Second.
all in favor? Unanimous. Approval of minutes for two meetings. Do we want to do both of these at one time?
No, I would.
Regular monthly meeting, 7/11/2023. Do we have any issues with those minutes?
I see on the under old business there on the first page, it says that in relation to the hospital nominations, it says Commissioner Edwards motion to approve nominees and Commissioner Edwards seconded. So I think
It's been corrected.
been correct. Okay.
That's good.
Thank you.
All right, we're good with the meeting from 7/11/23. Call the meeting for insurance. Don't believe we have any problems there.
Motion to approve.
And second,
Second.
all in favor? Unanimous. Under new business. First item, quarterly update from Athens Hospital.
Thank you. So we'll go back to May. So May 7th through the 13th, we celebrated the National Hospital Week. We had a fun-filled week, and then we moved right into May the 14th through the 20th. We had our nursing home week. So that was a busy time. June the 1st, we started with our new emergency department providers. So that's with South Georgia Emergency Services, and they are a division of South Georgia Radiology Group that we work with as well, and that is with Gary Dent's group. So it's a good partnership, and we've had a long-standing partnership with Gary Dent and his group. So on May the 31st, the medical oncology office in Waycross that we work with through Lewis Cancer Center, that office closed in Waycross. So that shifted more patients back to the Baxley location for us. So that gives us the opportunity to increase the presence of oncology services in our community. In our OR, Dr. Irfan continues to perform cases in our OR twice a month. And so we're also working with Metro Surgical to try to bring in the specialty of just general surgery to increase those volumes in our OR. We hope to have a definite answer from them by the end of this month on what the next steps are with them. We have completed an agreement with Bone and Joint Institute of South Georgia, so out of Wayne County, to provide consulting services in our ER. So that will give us full orthopedic coverage in our emergency department. Now, that doesn't mean that they'll be coming on site and seeing our patients. They will do that through phone consultations, and they'll do that through telemedicine. So what will happen, just like they do at Wayne Memorial, those patients will come to our ER if they have any type of broken bone. When they come there, then we consult, just like they do in other hospitals, to that orthopedic surgeon. When they speak to the orthopedic surgeon, they will determine if that patient needs to be transferred to another organization, or if we just need to have them seen in the office, and then they can be seen in the Baxley office here at Bone and Joint. So we're very excited about that partnership with them. We have reopened our swing bed program, and that is going very well. As far as some human resources updates, our human resources is finalizing our employee benefits package for the next year, and we're hoping to make some changes in that to offer a better benefits package to our employees. We've partnered with Georgia Southern University to provide an employee engagement program, and that also brings in some leadership development and management training for our staff. So we do have a new employee engagement committee that we work with, so we listen to what our employees are saying, so it's not just our managers that are continually telling us what we need. We've incorporated all of our some of our frontline employees to be a voice for them so that we hear from everybody. Our foundation hosted a mom prom that was a huge success, and it was held on June the 24th at Blessings and Grace by the lake. We had nominee queens, and just on those nominee queens, we raised $15,000 just on the queens themselves. So all of that goes to the foundation, and then they, in return, purchase equipment or needs for the hospital. Some things that they did last year was new wheelchairs for the pavilion and other equipment. Some of you attended and were at our EMS station for those renovations and that rebuild. That happened on July the 5th. So they are now completely moved in, settled, and I think they're very happy with that. So we appreciate you all coming and supporting that. Kate Hargrove, our GEMA trainer, was on site on May the 31st and June the 6th, and she presented the CRAZE, so that's the Civilian Response to an Active Shooter event at Applin Healthcare. We also had 130 Applin County High School students, 9th grade students, to tour our facility in May. So I'm skipping around a little bit. We still have Centurion Spine and Pain Center that's seeing patients every Wednesday and Thursday, and we've seen a great success with them. They have been very present in our community. So this is some interventional pain management that they provide here, which is a huge need, and that supports several of our ancillary services that we provide. So we are very pleased to announce that Applin Healthcare did receive the State Office of Rural Health grant in the total of $875,000. That is for us to do specific projects that were named in the grant, and some of those are room renovations. There's some long-term debt relief that is provided within this grant. So I believe there were 27 applicants. There were 8 hospitals that were selected, and Applin Healthcare was one of those hospitals. So the pavilion, it hosted its annual Jail and Bell fundraiser in May, and it also raised a significant amount of money for our organization at $7,000. All of that money does go back into our activities department at the pavilion. So our pavilion also received the 2023 Silver Achievement in Quality Award, and we're one of only 7 recipients of this award. So we are working on the plan to get our ICU back up and going, so it is still closed at this time. The initial plan was to reopen in mid-September, but because of staffing and trying to control cost with that, We still do have some issues, but we are actively recruiting for that. So upcoming, so I told you that we have a new employee engagement committee. We call that Team Care because it promotes our mission for our organization. And so we have set a date for our next employee engagement to incorporate some community engagement. This is keeping the sports theme with Team Care, and we're going to hold a fan fair on September the 9th at Applin Healthcare, and we'll send out more information to you guys about that. So normally what we do is a quarterly pep rally for all of our employees, and that's where we give them updates and allow them to ask questions about things that are going on within the organization. So to incorporate the community into that, so we will invite their fans in to see all the things that they get to do. So we spoke the last time about our admissions project and our bathroom project, all that are funded by the COVID mitigation grant that we received. So the admissions project, we're running about 2 weeks because of all of the rain and some supply issues, about 2 weeks behind. So that is both with that project and the bathroom project. So I'll just give you a little bit. The bathroom project is several people ask us why our cafeteria is still not open. Our cafeteria does not have an actual bathroom for people to come in and use because of the way that everything was built. When we had to lock down the pavilion so that we couldn't have outsiders come in, the bathroom was on that side. So we now will have a full-service bathroom in our cafeteria. So when that's open, which the anticipated date is at the end of this month, we will be able to reopen the cafeteria. So the admissions project, that is where we are changing out where we have 2 registration areas instead of just 1. So Applin Healthcare was selected by Hometown Health to participate in a policy maker tour on August the 24th. And this group travels with Jimmy Lewis, which is the Hometown Health CEO, Christy Thompson, who's Hometown Health COO, Matt Hatchett, which is the Chairman of Appropriations, and Christina Murdoch, the House Budget and Research Director. And this group will tour our facility and hear a presentation from our team. So we're very excited about them coming to visit us so we can promote our organization and speak to them about things that are difficult in rural healthcare. So those are my updates that I have at this time. Any questions for me?
I just want to say, I did not have your name on my paper. If you would introduce yourself.
I'm sorry.
For anyone that doesn't
Yeah.
know,
So,
and your title is
yes,
possible.
Andrea Graham, and I am the Chief Executive Officer of Applin Healthcare System.
Thank you. Any questions? Sure.
Andre, several months ago, y'all took us on a tour of the facilities and showed us the upgrades in the surgery operating room.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time showed us the ICU. And of course, at that time, I thought the ICU was fixing to open because I believe you said you had 2 surgeons out of Waycross.
We do.
And are they still on?
So they still come. They're still in our visiting offices, but they have only performed a very minimal amount of surgeries in our organization at this time.
Okay, and so and they can't do regular surgery until the ICU is up and running.
Yes,
Is that
sir.
correct?
Yes, sir.
Angela, you all mentioned about the EMS
Mm-hmm.
facility that's been remodeled and everything. Are y'all considering the facility at the new 9 emergency building out there?
Say that one more time.
What's the building we just built?
EMA building? EMA building?
So are you thinking about are we thinking about
Moving, yeah. Not moving, but putting another facility over at the 911 over there.
So we have not discussed that at this time, no, sir.
Okay, but is there a possibility for one to be, because we need a backup for, on this side of town, once the railroad train comes through, there's no way of getting access to no kind of emergency system.
Right. Yeah, we can discuss that with you guys at some point.
Okay, it's sort of well needed, really, because folks on this side be in a situation if don't
Yes,
Or
sir.
even that side, matter of fact. Okay.
The $875,000 grant, is that over 1 year, 2 year, 3 year? How's that gonna fall out?
So Robin, you'll have to, Robin.
The state office rural health grant, $875,000 is for 1 year, so
1
we
year.
have 1 year to use it.
Okay, good, thank you.
So-
Will some of you be able to utilize some of that for the ICU?
So
Or-
we'll be able to use it, so like we said, for the room renovations is part of that project. There also is some money built in there for recruitment of specialists into our community. So what they're working on as far as the staffing is doing cross-training. So there's some intense education that's going on for the nursing staff. So in the past, different hospitals have done different things, but what they do is you have nurses that are very specific to, I am an ER nurse, I am a med-surg nurse, I am, a nursing home nurse or a behavioral health, so we've opened up some things and tried to get creative on making sure that we can pull different nurses to different areas, but you have to make sure that they have the tools that they need in order to do that, because they do have to have that specialty and those competencies. So that's what's in the process now of making sure that we can utilize the current staff we have so that they're just not siloed into specific areas.
Thank you.
I have one other question
Yes, sir.
that keeps being asked to me. What is your financial outlook?
So our financial outlook, we are getting better. So with depreciation last month with our financials, I think we had, we were at $40,000. It was a $40,000 loss. Before depreciation, I don't have them in front of me, so that's why I'm looking at Robin. 'Cause we look, what now? So before we had a $40,000. So that I have it backwards. We had a $40,000 profit before depreciation. After depreciation, we had a $110,000 loss.
When you say depreciation, you have to,
So there's some fixed numbers in that, and what I can do is I can bring those back to you guys and discuss those when I have them in front of me.
yeah.
What's the anticipation of opening the nursing home wing, the one that's not open right now?
So we do have a plan in place for that as well, and that all is, so what we have to look at there is we have to balance out the number of residents that we have, and then we have to balance out the dollar amount of contract labor that we're spending in that area. So that's the balance there.
Do you have an idea when it may be?
So the plan is to do that, is to try to reopen it within the next 2 weeks, but that's all dependent on the staff that we have being able to keep that staff and to keep being able to recruit and retain that staff, which is difficult in all areas.
No.
There was some discussion about reducing the contract labor. Has that been successful?
It has been. It has been. Mhm. So we trend that every month, and it definitely has had a significant trend down within the last 2 months.
I know some of that, a lot of that was CNAs. Has that improved?
Yes. Yeah. CNAs and LPNs are the big issue in the pavilion. So.
Any other questions? Thank you, Ms. Greer.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Next item, public defender contract, Mr. Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Brunswick Judicial Circuit Public Defender's budget is contributed to by 5 counties. They are Glenn, Camden, Wayne, Appling, and Jeff Davis counties. Our contribution for 2024 is $144,726. These funds provide for the operation of an indigent defense system to assure that adequate and effective legal representation is provided to indigent defendants in criminal cases. Mr. Chairman, I would like to request a vote to accept the Georgia Indigent Defense Services Agreement.
I have a motion on this item.
So moved.
Doug, do I have a second?
I second.
Mr. Darrell, any further discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. Item C, 2024 LMIG application, Mr. Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appleton County has received our 2024 Local Maintenance and Improvement Grant Program, or otherwise known as LMIG, application. Roberts Civil Engineering has developed a proposal that will aid in the completion of the DOT LMIG application and will provide a cost estimate for all desired projects. The approved 23-24 LMIG list of roads will be used to prioritize all work associated with this grant. Mr. Chairman, I would like to request a vote to accept Roberts Engineering proposal for 2024 LMIG consulting.
I hear a motion on this item.
We're making a motion to approve the roads that we have already discussed and are laid out in this application. And Roberts has prepared the application to forward to the DOT. Is that what we're make a motion on?
Is that what you're reading? Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Looks to me like what we have previously agreed on for the 24 LMIG. I'll make a motion that we approve this contract and these roads here.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
I got Mr. Charlie first.
Yes, sir.
Any further discussion?
Oh, just one question. The Robert Civil Engineering Consulting scope of work, is that just for the 24 LMIG items only? Or does this proposal include other projects that we may be involved in?
This one particular contract will cover LMIG only, sir.
Okay.
Is there's a funding for all these projects?
Yes, there's funding for all these projects, sir.
Okay.
I have a motion and a second on the table. All in favor? Unanimous. Next item, public hearing date for 2024 county budget.
Oh, well, before we leave that, Mr. Chairman, if I may, I'd like to commend our county manager for his letter and request to the DOT for an additional funds that deal with inflation and cost of materials increase. His request was sent to the DOT, and the DOT was favorable in returning that request. So we have some additional funds that would not have been available had our manager not sent that letter. And thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Doug. Public hearing date for the 2024 county budget, Mr. Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The official code of Georgia Annotated, or OCGA 36-81-5, describes the preparation of a proposed budget. This directs the governing body to advise the residents that a public hearing will be held at which time any persons wishing to be heard on the budget may appear. Mr. Chairman, I would like the board's approval to set our public hearing date for our 24 county budget to 17 August at 5:30 p.m.
Commissioners, that date,
What day is that on?
Sir, that day is only Thursday,
is it 5:30 in the evening?
correct?
Commissioners, are we all right with that date?
I make a motion that we set the public hearing for August 17 at 5:30
Do I hear a
p.m.
second? Thank you, Mr. Dude. I hear a second.
Second. Not me.
Mr. Theodore, thank you. All in favor of that date? Unanimous. Vote on proposal for county insurance benefits, Mr. Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On July 24th, Mike Malloy from Lighthouse Benefits gave a presentation to this Board of Commissioners and answered all questions concerning the proposal. The proposed plan is through our current provider, United Healthcare, and mirrors our current plan. It also includes the Health Reimbursement Agreement, or HRA, that has been and will be very beneficial for our county employees. The cost of the FY 2024 proposal did not increase from 2023. Mr. Chairman, I would like to request a vote to accept the Lighthouse Benefits proposal for a United Healthcare performance contract.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a motion on the ballot?
I make a motion that we approve the proposal.
Thank you, Mr. Rennie. Do I have a second?
That's second.
Mr. Theodore, any further discussion?
I have a question. Are we going to use the plan that allows us to get a refund if claims are less than the benefit of the
Yes.
premium?
Yes, sir. That is the performance contract part of the healthcare performance contract.
Okay, and that's different than what we had in previous years,
That is-
that
they-
portion of it.
Yes, sir. If
Okay.
our loss ratio is greater, we stand to get some money back or credited to our 2025 plan if we
Right.
so choose to go with them again.
And we're doing that for the same premium as we had last year?
That's correct.
I have a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor? Unanimous. Item F, Miss Olivia Davis, Program Coordinator, Coalition for a Healthy Appling County.
Hello. I don't feel like I need this. I feel like y'all can hear me. Do you want me to turn it on?
It's on.
It's on? Okay.
Step up, step up.
Sorry, I don't like microphones. Many of you probably know me with my role with the Downtown Development Authority. I serve as the director of the Downtown Development Authority, but I also work for a nonprofit called the Coalition for a Healthy Appling County. And I do have a few slides that are behind you guys, so I may reference a few as we go. JK, y'all can see it. So the Coalition for a Healthy Appling County was established in 2017. Below, you can see our mission statement. It is to transform the Appling County community by ensuring access to health care, improving access to resources, engaging in strong collaborative alliances, and developing a universal message to communicate health for all. You can go to the next slide. A little bit about CHAC. Like I said, we were established in 2017. We received a 5-year grant from the Two Georgias Initiative, which comes from the Healthcare Georgia Foundation. And that grant ended in 2017, but we immediately started our 4-year grant, which we are currently in, which is an $800,000 grant with HRSA. And luckily, the goals of these two grants were very similar. We wanted to provide healthy resources to uninsured or underinsured residents of Appling County and reduce the morbidity rate due to diabetes and cardiovascular disease. And you can go to the next slide. This kind of gives you an overarching idea of what programs this grant covers. The one that I'm most excited about is the free remote patient monitoring devices. This is a collaboration with Appling Healthcare. Appling Healthcare actually receives the remote patient monitoring devices, and then they deliver them to East Georgia Healthcare Center because that is where we ran some studies and found that the most residents of Appling County that are uninsured and reach that poverty level, that's where they go, is the East Georgia Healthcare Center. So those devices are free. In addition, we have free nutrition classes that UGA Appling County Extension Office provides. Anyone is eligible to attend those classes. Extension Office also has a gleaning program where they partner with local farmers in the area and glean leftover crops that they can donate to. The volunteers can keep them, or they can donate them to the food bank. It's a great outlet for people to kind of feel like they have a purpose. We just recently, last month, added free exercise classes with Gene's Fitness Center. Robin Trailblazers Group has begun a hiking club where kids get to hike all over Georgia for free. Shiloh Behavioral Health has many mental health trainings. Then we have our National Crime Victims 5K, Free Fit Fund events, diabetes awareness event. These are all funded by that grant that I mentioned earlier.
Ms. Olivia?
Uh-huh.
The gleaning program.
Uh-huh.
How do you get in touch with someone on that?
That would be Miss Becky Collins.
Okay.
She would love. I'm sure she would love to have you be a part of that. Farmers contact her, and then she has a list of volunteers, and she just sends them a text. If you can go, great. If you can, it's not a problem. How many do you typically have? Just depends.
5 to 10 at a time, usually.
Yeah, and she does this all year round. Like in December, we did satsumas. You've done potatoes, blueberries, just whatever, corn.
Peas?
What, peas? We have no peas. And pecans either,
Yeah.
believe it or not.
We're not picky.
Okay, all right.
So like I said, all of these programs, and I know I'm missing some, are funded by this grant. And every single thing listed on here is free. Next slide. This is just a snippet of our partners in Appling County. I'm not going to list them all, and I know I'm missing some, but we work well together. The coalition is formed of volunteers, basically. We meet once a month, every other month, to kind of get together, figure out if we are still on our goals that we set in 2017, if there's new goals that we want to have. And something that I'm about to mention is one of those goals that was brought to the table in 2017, kind of got pushed to the side, and it has been readdressed this year. And I wanted to share a little bit more about that, so we can go to the next slide. Our next focus is a community garden for Appling County. So a little bit of back history with the community garden. There is actually a community garden here in Appling County that has been established. It is at the Action Pact Head Start. It's next to that building. That's fine if you want to go to that next slide. So the space has been established, and this was what you're seeing, the map here is the original goal that they had in mind for 2017. And there's plenty of room. The space that's designated for the community garden has been established. So there's plenty of room to do these raised beds, the blueberry bushes, grapevines, compost area. All of that has designated room and space to do that. And you can go to the next slide. Just a little bit, because sometimes we don't know what's already been accomplished. If you were to visit the Community Garden Center, you would think that we have a lot of work to do, and we do, but it's important to know what we've already accomplished. The community garden has been fenced in. There's a nice fence with a gate, and there's a combination lock on it. This has been achieved through a mini grant fund. There is an irrigation system installed, and there's also a storage area that's enclosed that keeps all of the gleaning items that Miss Becky uses, but it still has additional space to hold things that could be used for the community garden. Okay. And that was, I don't think I mentioned, that was a generous donation from the county. But we need to go from there. We've got some major issues with the area. There was tarp that was laid on the ground at the community garden, and now grass and weeds have grown over it and through it, and it's just a mess. So I've kind of listed a few high priority items that could just get us to where we could grow some vegetables. We would need to mow and weed eat the area, as well as killing all the weeds. And actually, the rain may have messed up with the prisoners today, but the Appleton County Sheriff's Office was assisting us with doing that part, because the property is at Action Pact is county maintained. So this could just loop right into being county maintained as well, which would be a huge help, because we don't currently. We're looking to have somebody on staff that could maintain the community garden, but we currently do not have that. Like I said, there's plastic tarp. We have a volunteer in mind that could come with a backhoe and just pull that tarp up, but the first step has to be done with killing the weeds and the grass and everything. And then there are raised beds there, but they're too shallow for vegetables to properly grow. So in the meantime, just to get things up and running, we're going to till an area that people can plant things in the ground instead of trying to spend more funds with the raised beds. We think that the soil will be perfectly fine just to get us started. So that's it. If you have any questions or would love to take a tour of the community garden, like I said, it is in dire need of some TLC, but we are on the way to kind of getting that up and running, and the goal is to have some vegetables in the fall. A community garden could be a tremendous achievement for Appleton County. There's an area that we're trying to have trees donated and benches donated where people can relax and read and maybe have lunch. Because of its location, it's a prime location. There are already 4 raised beds that are on concrete, so the senior citizens that go to the activities at that building every single day, they could maintain their own community beds. And then there's kids there that go every single day, so they could have, something of their own. So it's a great opportunity for our garden club to volunteer, and a great chance for the whole community to be a part of this. So I just wanted to share and say that if there's any area that you would like to assist with, we would be more than happy to partner with the county commissioners. Any questions for me? All right, thank y'all.
I would like to make a comment.
Okay.
Thank you.
This is not a picture of the community garden.
I'm not putting the real one. And if you want a tour, I'm going with you so that y'all don't
No, definitely
talk
not.
bad about me.
Thank you, Miss Olivia. Next item, Miss Kelsey with Appleton County Young Farmer Teacher.
Good evening. Hello. Okay.
How you guys?
All right. Get ready. All right. So hello, my name is Kelsey Marchant, and I am the new young farmer teacher at Appleton County High School. Just get my card. I'm sorry. I'd first like to thank Mr. Al Meadows and the Board of Commissioners for allowing me to come speak today. Speak this afternoon. This afternoon, I am speaking on behalf of the livestock families in our community, as well as a projected vision that we have for our current agriculture facility. Can you go back to the previous slide? I'm sorry, excuse me. This past March at our local livestock show, our youth of Appleton County exhibited both swine and cattle at our show. Now this show is sponsored by the Appleton County Stockmen's Association. It was an excellent show and ones that we hope to continue. So this past show, like I mentioned, was the first time that cattle had been shown in over 50 years, which is something that we are very excited and proud to be bringing back to Appling County. As you all know, cattle are one of the top agriculture commodities that is produced in our county. With that show, with cattle being a top agriculture commodity in our project, like I said, we were excited to bring that back for our youth, alongside with exhibiting swine as well. Just from this first show, there are many vital connections that have developed and are continuing to develop. In conjunction with our local show, students have the option to enter their heifer as well as their swine project into an auction. This not only creates an opportunity for the local farmers to come and purchase either a swine project or a pig or either a heifer that those local cattle farmers can then take back and place in their herd. As we all know, these youth livestock projects are an excellent way for our youth to not only learn how to raise and care for animals, but we're also promoting our number one industry in in Georgia, which is agriculture. This leads me into our current facility layout that we have at our Ag Center. And in some slides next, I also have some pictures to help visualize this. So our current facility, consists of what I would call 4 components to our current facility. The largest area is the show arena. Next, we have another compartment is a swine housing area. That area is utilized where youth can rent pens to permanently house their pigs for the show season. We also then there are 2 areas that are filled with what I would call swine pens that are for show day housing that also include wash pens. Okay. This, of course, leads me into my proposal and why I am here today. And in this proposal, know that I'm, first of all, seeking your support as well as any ideas or suggestions. This past local show, as I mentioned, we had 7 students that exhibited heifer projects. Of course, we have hopes to expand this number exponentially over the next years. This past spring, I actually had another interest meeting, and we're looking for this current upcoming season to have, heifer show to have over 10 students showing heifers. So I would consider this more of a growing pain, and our growing pain right now is that we are lacking housing resources that can support and accommodate the housing for our projected cattle show growth. So what I'm proposing is that we take one of the areas that has the swine pens, that we remove those swine pens, which are in the one back left area. They're rarely used. At our local show, they're actually not used at all, but we remove those pens and we retrofit that area to accommodate the housing for our cattle. And if you click and go to the next one, I have some pictures to show you. On the left side again, is that second housing room that I was referring to. Those are the pens that are currently in there. Like I said, they're rarely used. Now, if you look to the to the right, this is what I'm envisioning. Of course, you would remove the pens and you would place cattle panels, which can be removed if need be, but this will be a place for your larger livestock to be tied off for the shows. And of course, this would just be for a day show housing. Next picture. Now I want to make sure it's understood that, of course, this is the center portion that would remain as is. And this one, I went and counted just Monday, it has 67 swine pens. So of course this portion would remain the same. And I've done quite a bit of research with this, and I want to put this into context. I reached out to Ware County. In their current facility, they only have 50 swine pens. So of course leaving this center portion would more than accommodate what we needed or show. Next slide. So again, these are just a few more pictures of what I'm envisioning what the cow panels would look like. Again, in the area I'm talking about, you could run 2 panels down the length of the building. Cattle could be housed on either side. And as well on the right picture, we would also like to add in some areas where you can wash the cattle as well. So again, I would like to thank you today for allowing me to visit today. And again, in this proposal, as I mentioned before, I think this proposal means that we're growing. This means that we are providing more opportunities for our youth in the community, and I'm a firm believer that showing livestock is one of the best things that your kids can get involved in. So I'd like to thank you for having me today, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Ms. Kelsey, have you had any estimates on what the expenses would be to make this transition?
I do, yes, sir, and I actually have some copies right here if you'd like to see them. I've contacted I've researched quite a bit, like I said, and spoken with a lot of different counties across the state, and everybody goes back to, it's a gentleman, it's called D&H Manufacturing, they're out of Commerce, Georgia. They actually did this same job for Bacon County and for many other surrounding counties and counties in the state. He actually also did Perry, the livestock facility at Perry, so
how many pens are we actually talking about?
So what I have actually a drawing here as well. So what I am thinking, and I'll hand both of these out. We would put 2 panels that run. They would be 90 feet long, and they would run down the length of the building. And again, this would be where you can house on either side. The room, when I measured it, it's roughly a 60 by 120 building. So these panels again will be about 90 feet long, and again we could run 2 panels on either side. And he said that would be plenty enough where you could house on either end, and still for the families, or families and people watching can come and walk around the exterior as well. And he quoted adding a wash rack on the back wall as well. So, I'm dropping my pens. Would anybody else like a copy?
Yeah. Okay.
Guess I go pass around to everybody. Would you also like a copy?
Just that.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions?
Do you know how many swine pens are on the right-hand side
Let me see that.
where they house?
Were they permanently housed? Miss Becky, do you know? I'm not quite sure on that, but
On the right-hand side where they permanently house
were they permanently housed?
pigs, do you know how many?
There's probably 20.
20?
So again, the center portion, what I'm proposing, center portion would stay the same. Again, that's 67 pens. And like most shows, you can house 2 pigs per pen. So that would roughly accommodate 134 pigs. Like I said, in context compared to other counties, we actually have more than what a lot of other counties have. And of course, what I'm proposing is take the left side and remove those pens and then add the cattle panels.
What would we do with the additional pens that are in the left side now?
Well, a suggestion now this is something I had thought might be a good idea, is now something we might could sell those. There's a lot of schools across the state that are building barns, so that might be something that another school could utilize, and we could, and that of course would help with the cost.
Any further questions from Ms. Kelsey?
And again, I'm happy to meet, come back, whatever I need to do. I'm just excited for the youth. I'm excited. I think this is a great project, and we have a lot of deeply agriculture-rooted families that are coming and taking on this project. We have actually a few sitting in the room. My son, his first show heifer is supposed to be born this September. So this is something, I think this is a growing, something good for our community, and looking forward to watching it grow. So.
How deep are these individual pens?
Sir?
How deep are the individual pens?
I think there's 6 by the pig pens. Is that what you're referring to?
No, the cattle pens.
You mean how deep would that thing? Let's see. Let me go back on the.
Not interrupting Kelsey.
No,
The cows are actually tied.
Yes, sir. So they're tied to the eye hooks.
They're not an actual pen, they're just tied.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I got you.
So you can tie. The neat thing about the panels, you can tie on either side.
Okay.
The cattle are shown on a halter, so you just tie the rope halter to the eye ring, to the eye hook.
Okay, so you okay, all right.
And of course, this is something you could use not just for cattle, but other large livestock. This to me would truly make it a multi-purpose, multi-livestock facility.
And this is the installation, and it says delivery and labor, that is the
Yes, sir.
installation?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What kind of time frame are we looking at? You need it by the sale in March? Is that,
Yeah,
will we?
perfect. Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So we're looking at 7, 8 months.
And
somewhere.
when I last spoke to the gentleman, he's got some major projects, but he's about 2 or 3 months out is when he, so this fall is kind of the projected timeline he gave me.
Okay, so I see here 18, so we'd be able to have, does that mean that we would have capability of tying 36 animals?
Oh, probably more than on each panel. I mean, I think you could probably house.
If it's just one on each panel, still there, you said there's
Yes.
tying
Yes, sir.
hooks on both sides?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that'd be at least 36.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Any further questions from Ms. Gilby? Thank you for
All right.
coming.
I do appreciate it. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Next item under old business, request for additional funding on a TIA project. Mr. Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Last week on 25 July, I contacted our TIA Regional Coordinator, Brent Mosley, to request any additional funds that were available due to the increased cost of materials to be applied to Appling County's TIA project budgets. I received a response to my request on Friday afternoon that awarded an additional $135,774 to the Nails Ferry project and $241,451 to the 10 Mile project. I received a TIA supplemental agreement late yesterday afternoon from Mr. Mosley that confirms the increased funds allocated from GDOT were awarded. Mr. Chairman, I would like to ask the board's approval to accept the TIA supplemental agreement.
I have a motion on this item.
I make a motion that we accept the TIA.
Theodore, thank you. A second.
Second.
Mr. Doug, any further questions on this item? All in favor? Unanimous. Next item, Sheriff's Report. Mr. Mark Melton. Sheriff Mark Melton.
Give me instead.
That'll be fine.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the board, it's always an honor to come before you. We have a lot going on at the Sheriff's Office, as usual. I just want to touch on some training issues that we've had going on this summer. Of course, you know we have 7 deputies assigned to the school system, and we call them school resource deputies. And we've had one of those deputies attend the Georgia Gang Investigators Training in Athens, which is, gang problems. We haven't seen that issue here yet, like a lot of the school systems have. But I believe it's not a situation of if, it's just when. And so we're going to try to stay on the cutting edge of that. The information that he received during his training is all about recognition and being able to recognize traits of gangs and gang signs and that type of thing. So, like I said, he attended that training in Athens, and he came back and gave us a report on it, and he was excited about it. Also, we had a deputy attend the CHAMPS instructor training. CHAMPS, as you well know, stands for Choosing Healthy Activities and Methods Promoting Safety. I can never remember that, but that's what it stands for. And what our CHAMPS instructors do is they teach, it's kind of like the old DARE program that used to be in effect. They teach our kids about staying away from alcohol and drugs and making good choices. So, also, we had 3 deputies that attended school resource officer training, which is something that is required of all law enforcement that are school resource officers or deputies. That training was held at the Georgia Public Safety Training Center in Forsyth. And we also had 4 deputies that attended School Safety Conference in Athens, which is training that they receive that keeps them on the cutting edge and all the latest updates on school policies. Let's see, we also had, as y'all are aware, we're partnered with the Governor's Office of Highway Safety. We actually have a grant from GOHS. It's a traffic enforcement grant. The latest activity that we partnered with is called Operation Slowdown, and that was July the 17th through the 27th. And basically what that is law enforcement agencies statewide concentrate on speeders and distracted drivers. And of course, you know that's been an issue trying to keep our roads safe. Distracted driving has actually taken the forefront, but speeding is also one of the major factors in fatality accidents. Our GOHS grant is called a traffic enforcement grant that we get. I think it's a little over $44,000 that we get back from GOHS, offsets the salary and some of the equipment that we buy. Part of that grant requires us to make at least 200 speeding contacts per month, our deputies, and also 10 distracted driving contacts per month. So when you see our deputies out there with vehicles on the side of the road, it's not because they're trying to harass anyone. It's because they're trying to keep the road safe for our families. And as part of that grant, you know, these are stipulations that we have to maintain. So I'm proud of these guys. They do a great job. I actually had five deputies that attended speed detection certification training a couple of months ago. And part of that training, they have to come out and do field training. And they have to acquire a minimum of 16 hours of field training from a certified LiDAR or radar operator. So those guys have got all that behind them. They're doing a great job right now. I know I've heard comments about our guys working a lot of traffic around here, and I'm very proud of that, and I'm sure you guys are too. You know, these citations that they write and the citations that are written by our state partners, you know, that doesn't come back to the sheriff's office. That comes to the county general fund. So I just wanted to clear that up for anybody who didn't understand that. But I'm very proud of these guys. They do a great job. They've got a hard job. I would love for any of you that would be interested in doing a ride-along with our deputies. I urge that. I think it would be a very enlightening experience for you. So if you think you might want to do that, please contact me or the sheriff and do a 2 or 3 or 4 hour ride-along with these guys, because I'm going to tell you something. You're going to see some things that's going to open your eyes. And I know y'all understand the problems that we face today, but this world is in serious trouble. And the dope problem that we have is something that's unprecedented. We've never seen this in my lifetime anyway. It's getting bad. So anyhow, I urge y'all to do that. I appreciate the support that you all give us. And with that, if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them, but I'm going to turn it back over to you. Thank y'all.
Chief.
Yes, sir.
The training that these officers are just going through, could most of that be performed by a training officer? Were there a full-time training officer in Appling County?
No, sir. This training is required by, actually it's put on by the Georgia Sheriff's Association. So this training is specific training from their instructors. So this training is something that we can't do in-house. Now the in-service training that we're going to be required to provide, like to our 911 operators now, that new mandate has come up on us. Our 20 hours of in-service that we do for our sworn guys and for our jailers, that would be done in-house by our instructor. We're doing it, but we need help. I'll be honest with you. You know, we have 4 instructors, but we need somebody. I told the county manager today that I really, really miss him not being around doing the paperwork aspect of this, because old Gino's doing it now, and we need some help. So thank y'all very much.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
You said y'all were mandated to write 200 citations?
No, sir. No, sir. We're
Oh.
mandated to make 200 traffic stops,
And
and that's
so-
contacts, yes. sir.
Okay, so it's not necessarily a ticket written?
No, sir, no,
You're just
sir.
doing-
Matter of fact, the vast majority of those are written warnings.
Okay,
But what it is, it's mandated by the Governor's Office of Highway Safety. As part of this grant, we have to make those contacts. And it's the same way with the distracted driving.
Okay.
But no, sir, we're not mandated to write citations, but that is part of the job.
okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Gene Davis. Next on the agenda, Recreation Department update.